So in the previous video, I was showing you how to fill the scene with different 3D objects. Now that we have the 3D objects, you see that even that the object looks nice, the scene is not very realistic. And this is because when we have 3D environments, we need to simulate the behavior of the light, but because the behavior of the light is very complex, we don't have the power on our machines to make very complex realistic simulation of the light that run on real time. So because of that, all the 3D engines that we use with our 3D environments, they tend to have very simplistic light simulation. And because of that, usually what we see on the screen is not as realistic as we want. Anyway, in this scene right now, we can see that the light is coming from this direction. This is because here we have this object that is our light source. So we're going to click it and I'm going to drag it around so you can see that when we move the light, how the shading of the objects changes. As you can see, if you pay attention, there's no shadows right now. Shadows is a very complex thing that you will need to fine-tune if you want to have them. Right now, we're going to forget about the shadows. So we have this light here. When you're working in a 3D environment, there's a lot of different kind of lights, but there are three very basic lights that you will find in all the 3D softwares. In this case, the light, for instance, this kind of light is called an omni light, and it's called omni light because the light is being emitted in all directions. So it doesn't matter where the light is, the light goes in every single direction. But if we want to have something more like a spotlight, we can change it here. Here, I'm going to change to spot. So this is a spotlight. And as you can see, when I move the light around, it's only emitting light in this direction. Usually the spotlights in all the 3D engines, they have this property to change how much the area that is inside the penumbra, the angle of the area in the penumbra, and also how big is the whole cone of the light. And this is usually used when you want to create more like a dramatic effect. There's also a third kind of light that you will find in all engines, which is called the directional light. The directional light is a light that comes, every single ray comes from in parallel to this plane. It's usually used for outside lights, like if you want to simulate the behavior of the sun. So you have a light that it doesn't matter what is the light. The only important thing is the direction of the light. So you can see, maybe you will see better, like if I have a spotlight here, and I move around the light, you will see that the area that is in the center is because it's pointing to the light, gets more light. But if I switch it to directional, you will see that there's more light coming to this object. Anyway, it's important to play around with the lights when you want to have a more realistic look. Like if in this case, for instance, if I want this area here doesn't have any light, maybe it will look kind of flat. So you don't want to look very flat. What you can do is add more lights to the scene. But remember that the more lights the scene have, the performance is going to drop. So always keep in mind to have as less amount of lights as you can. So right now we have 2 lights and the scene looks a little bit better than before. So there's many more things I can say about the lights, but right now we're going to leave it here and go to the next part.